Let's be real for a second. How many of you guys feel like you're constantly waiting for that next paycheck to hit your account? It's a stressful way to live, isn't it? The anxiety of not knowing if you'll have enough to cover your expenses can be overwhelming. It's like you work so hard for your money, but it always seems to vanish before you can even think about your financial goals. You might feel like you're stuck in a never-ending cycle of earning and spending. The truth is, a lot of people struggle with this. It's a common issue that many face, regardless of their income level or background. In fact, over 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That's a staggering number, and it highlights just how widespread this problem is. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be this way. You have the power to change your financial situation and take control of your money. The secret to breaking this cycle and actually achieving your financial dreams is simpler than you might think: budgeting. It's a powerful tool that can transform your financial life. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Budgeting? That sounds boring and restrictive. You might be worried that it will limit your freedom to spend, but trust me on this one. Budgeting isn't about depriving yourself. It's about giving yourself permission to spend money on the things you truly value, guilt-free. It's about prioritizing your spending to align with your goals and values. It's about taking control of your finances instead of letting them control you. When you budget, you make intentional decisions about where your money goes. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact steps you can take to create a monthly budget that actually works, even if you've never budgeted a day in your life. We'll cover everything from tracking your expenses to setting realistic financial goals. We're talking about simple, actionable strategies that can help you finally start building the financial future you deserve. These tips are easy to implement and can make a big difference. Are you ready? Let's do this. It's time to take control of your finances and start living the life you've always dreamed of. Look, I get it. Budgeting might not sound like the most exciting topic, but I'm here to tell you it is life-changing. It's the foundation for everything else you want to achieve financially. Think about it. You wouldn't build a house without a solid foundation, right? Well, your finances are no different. A budget is that solid foundation that allows you to build wealth, achieve your financial goals, and ultimately design your dream life. Without it, you're just kind of winging it, hoping for the best. And the stats don't lie. Like I mentioned, most Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and a huge part of that is simply not having a plan for their money. But when you create a budget, you're taking control. You're telling your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. It's about gaining clarity, making conscious spending choices, and finally, breaking free from that cycle of financial stress. Okay, so the first step to building a killer budget is to know exactly how much money you're actually working with each month. This means getting a clear understanding of your income sources and how much you actually take home. And I'm not just talking about your salary on paper. It's crucial to look beyond the gross income and focus on what you actually receive. We need to figure out your net income. That's the amount you take home after taxes, insurance, and any other deductions. This is the real figure you should be budgeting with. Now, this is going to vary depending on your situation. Different jobs and employment types have different deductions and benefits. If you're a salaried employee, you've got your W-2 that breaks down all the numbers. This form is a great starting point for understanding your annual income. Add up all your paychecks for the year, then subtract those taxes and deductions. This will give you a clear picture of your net income. If you're a freelancer or independent contractor, things get a little trickier, but it's still doable. You have to be more diligent with your records. You'll need to factor in self-employment taxes, which can be a bit of a pain, but hey, nobody said being your own boss was easy, right? It's all part of the process. Don't forget about any other income streams you might have, like side hustles, investments, or rental property income. Every bit counts towards your total income. We want to capture everything. Make sure to include all sources to get an accurate picture. Once you have a clear picture of your total monthly income, you're ready to move on to the next step. This foundation is crucial for building a realistic and effective budget. Alright, now for the part that most people dread: tracking your expenses. It's not the most glamorous task, but it's absolutely essential if you want to take control of your finances. I know it might sound tedious, but trust me, this step is crucial. Without it, you won't have a clear picture of where your money is going. It's like putting your spending habits under a microscope so you can finally see where your hard-earned money is actually going. This awareness is the first step towards making better financial decisions. First, we're going to divide your expenses into two categories: fixed and variable. This will help you understand which expenses are non-negotiable and which ones you have more control over. Fixed expenses are those bills that stay pretty much the same each month, like your rent or mortgage, car payment, and those pesky utility bills. These are the costs you can predict and plan for. Variable expenses, on the other hand, are those that fluctuate, like groceries, eating out, entertainment, and shopping. These are the areas where you can potentially save money, like groceries, eating out, entertainment, and shopping. By tracking these, you can identify patterns and make adjustments. Now here's the key. For at least one full month, I want you to track every single dollar you spend. And I mean everything from that morning coffee to that Netflix subscription you totally forgot about. This exercise will give you a comprehensive view of your spending habits. To that Netflix subscription you totally forgot about, you can use a budgeting app, a spreadsheet, or even just a good old-fashioned notebook. The method doesn't matter as much as the consistency, or even just a good old-fashioned notebook. The point is to become aware of your spending patterns. You might be surprised by how much you're actually spending in certain areas. This newfound awareness is the first step towards better financial health. Chapter 4. Let's be honest, budgeting without a clear destination in mind is kind of like driving around aimlessly with no map and no idea where you're going. You might end up somewhere, but it probably won't be the place you want to be. That's where setting financial goals comes in. This is about getting clear on your why, the reason you're putting in the effort to manage your money in the first place. Do you want to finally buy your dream house? Pay off those student loans that have been hanging over your head? Quit your 9-to-5 and travel the world? Whatever it is, write it down. Make it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. We're talking SMART goals here, people, and don't be afraid to dream big. The more excited you are about your goals, the more motivated you'll be to stick to your budget. Chapter 5. Alright, it's time to put everything together and create your actual budget. Now, there are a ton of different budgeting methods out there, but one of my favorites is the 50-30-20 rule. Here's how it works. You're going to allocate 50% of your after-tax income to your needs, 30% to your wants, and 20% to your savings and debt repayment. Needs are those essential expenses we talked about: housing, utilities, transportation, groceries. You know, the stuff you absolutely need to survive. Wants are the fun stuff: dining out, travel, entertainment, that new gadget you've been eyeing. Remember, it's totally okay to spend money on things you enjoy, as long as it fits within your budget. And then, there's the 20% for savings and debt repayment. This is where the magic happens. This is how you build that emergency fund, pay down debt faster, and start investing for your future. Chapter 6. Okay, you've got your budget all set up, now what? Well, this is where the rubber meets the road. Creating a budget is great, but it's useless unless you actually stick to it. That's why it's crucial to track your spending regularly, and review your budget at least once a week, or at least twice a month. Think of it like checking in on your finances, just like you check in on your social media, but hopefully, way less often. During these check-ins, see how you're doing. Are you staying within your targets for each category? Are there any areas where you're overspending? This is your chance to make adjustments, course correct, and stay on top of your game. Remember, life happens, and unexpected expenses pop up, so it's important to be flexible and adjust your budget accordingly. Chapter 7. Now let's talk about the mental game of budgeting because, let's be real, that's where the real challenge lies for a lot of people. One of the biggest reasons people struggle to stick to a budget is because they see it as a restriction, a punishment. But it doesn't have to be that way. Instead of focusing on what you're giving up, try shifting your perspective to what you're gaining, because when you stick to your budget, you're gaining financial freedom, peace of mind, and the ability to achieve your goals. Another helpful tip is to automate your savings. Set up automatic transfers from your checking to your savings account each month, so you don't even have to think about it. Out of sight, out of mind, right? Let's face it, life is full of surprises, and not all of them are good, especially when it comes to your finances. That's why having an emergency fund is absolutely non-negotiable. An emergency fund is your financial safety net. It's the money you have set aside to cover those unexpected expenses that inevitably pop up, like a medical bill, car repair, or job loss. Now, how much should you have in your emergency fund? Ideally, you want to aim for 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses. I know that might seem like a lot, but trust me, it's better to be safe than sorry. Start by setting aside a small amount each month, even if it's just $50 or $100. Every little bit helps, and over time, it will add up. Here's the thing about budgeting. It's not a one-and-done deal. It's an ongoing process that requires regular attention and adjustments. Think of your budget as a living document that evolves as your life changes. You might get a raise, start a family, or decide to go back to school. All of these life events will impact your finances, so it's important to adjust your budget accordingly. At the end of each month, take some time to review your budget and see how you did. What went well? Where can you improve? Did you stay within your targets? Were there any unexpected expenses? By regularly reviewing and reflecting on your budget, you'll gain valuable insights into your spending habits and make more informed financial decisions in the future. So there you have it. A step-by-step guide to creating a monthly budget that actually works. Remember, budgeting isn't about deprivation, it's about empowerment. It's about taking control of your money so you can live life on your own terms. And the best part is, you don't have to be a financial expert to do it. I've had so many people tell me that budgeting completely transformed their finances. They're finally out of debt, saving for their dream home, and just feeling more confident and secure about their financial future. If they can do it, you can too. Start small, be consistent, and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way. And there you have it, guys. You now have the tools and knowledge to create a budget that works for you and your unique financial goals. Remember those stats we talked about earlier? You don't have to be another statistic. You have the power to change your financial story. Start by taking action on what you learned today. Even if you just focus on tracking your spending for a week or setting one small financial goal, it's a step in the right direction. And hey, I want to help you out even more. I've created a free budget template that you can download in the description below. It'll walk you through everything step by step and make this whole process even easier. Make sure to grab yours and start taking control of your finances today.